To the Festival of Media for inviting me as the jury chair this year for the Global Awards. It was a fantastic opportunity for me. I have obviously been associated with the festival for a number of years. In fact, from the very beginning, if I'm not wrong, been on a lot of the juries, but as a chair, it was a slightly different experience managing the entire group. We had a fantastic group that we worked with. And yes, it was not like when you sit together around a table for a day or two, deliberating on all these fantastic, entries. But it was as close as it could be. I mean, we were having our dogs and pets together on the call. Children were coming in. We were having our coffees and drinks, etc. A very well spent 4.5, 5 hours together as a jury. So thank you to the Festival of Media for organizing this.
No, Sital, it's wonderful to hear. And as you say, you are a great fan of festival. You know, we have had you from the start, not just on the awards, but in the conference as well. So it's always a pleasure to have you involved. And what was interesting there, I love the fact that actually in the virtual space, you do get the ability to have those home comforts, have the coffee the way you like it, the food the way you like it. And it was really interesting to say that, it was a great 4.5 hours. So on that note, I'd love to ask you what you thought of the work that was submitted this year and particularly the work that was shortlisted.
Yeah, I think when it comes to work that I reviewed together with the members of the jury, the quality of the work was par excellence. It was above average, definitely. Some of the categories which we went through were obviously better than some others, but at an overall level, all categories had excellent work shortlisted. And it was a delight to be able to review, to be able to be inspired by the quality of the work. And having been associated with the Festival of Media Awards over the number of years, I can say confidently that the quality of the work that I have seen continues to go higher and higher, better and better with every passing year. And the bar just keeps getting higher in that sense as well.
Great, that's wonderful to hear, because what I like to see and what we like to see as Festival of Media is the judges kind of very much getting into it. There was an example in one of the sessions this week, Sital, where someone had said they could only be there for half the time, but they got to the time they were meant to leave, and then they said, "Oh, don't worry, I've moved my meeting so I can 100% do this because I was enjoying it so much." But do you think that it was a fair reflection from a global perspective? Because I know there were entries from far afield as Malaysia to Australia to Spain. So did you feel it kind of gave you a real kind of global feel?
Yeah, it did. If I look at the various categories that were entered, if I look at the geographies that it covered, but also given the really unique and challenging year that it was 2020, on how some of the campaigns, some of the brands and advertisers were trying to overcome those challenges, but how some others not just overcame those challenges, but were taking those head on and we're creating opportunities out of those challenges. And you could clearly see that coming through some of the entries that we were able to review together, which was really inspiring. So yes, and apart from that, there were a lot of campaigns which embraced inclusivity, diversity to a large extent. It was really inspiring to see that with the changing world, the campaigns are also reflecting that changing world in what they're trying to do. So again, kudos to the agencies, the advertisers, and the brands who were responsible for coming up with these campaign ideas.
That's fantastic to hear. And on the back of that, that's quite interesting, because I was going to ask you, were there any kind of key overriding themes that kind of fed their way through each of those campaigns?
Jeremy, what I saw very clearly is the use of data, the use of technology, and an audience-first approach. It's quite mainstream now. It's no more an afterthought and no more something that you see in a few campaigns. So barring a handful, almost all campaigns had these three things bringing to life the idea and bringing to life what the brand and the business were trying to do. And that was quite refreshing, because if I go back a few years, you would really have to look deep to find a true audience-based insight in a campaign case that was submitted. That's clearly not the case, and it's become quite mainstream, and it's the centerpiece that all strategies have an audience-based approach, a data and technology-based approach in trying to bring to life campaigns, and that's been wonderful. And that's something that I have seen this year quite a lot.
Great. And was there anything from those campaigns that you kind of saw and thought, my goodness, that concept, that idea, that measurement, that piece of creative has absolutely blown my mind. It was so magnificent. Was there anything there you saw that?
I think we went through a few categories, like the comm strategy, distribution and amplification of content, and then there was the best use of, and I don't like this word, traditional,
right.
Best use of traditional media. And I made a point saying, I think you can recategorize it as best use of media, and then you talk about television and print and out of home, etc. So I would really ask the Festival of Media to not bring in the word traditional anymore. But that apart, so we reviewed a few of these categories, and the category that really blew my mind is out of home. The innovation that I saw in out of home, the use of really technology and data and digital in the out of home space was really unique, and it was something that I took away from that session where we reviewed all these categories and these campaigns. There was this particular advertising campaign, dog advertising. I think, if I'm not mistaken, from Croatia. Out of home, I think it took care of data privacy in such a different way, and then used that angle to sort of bring in data, technology, and to target, not just in a functional level, but at an emotional level, the target audience. That really blew our mind when we were reviewing that campaign. And of course, it deserved to get a gold. Yeah, I think out of home as a category, there were some fantastic executions in the UK, for example. I remember there were certain campaigns we reviewed. They were really, really outstanding. So when I think of a category that I want to possibly associate myself in the future, that's something that I am quite inspired to get involved with out of home.
That's fantastic to hear. And I have to say, for a medium that often is much maligned, isn't it? It's lovely to see how it embraces technology, and with people coming back out of their homes, the use of out of home will just get bigger and better, right?
Absolutely. And especially in a year where people were mostly inside their homes, how out of home was leveraged as a medium was amazing. And I just hope that people just continue to push the boundaries, and in some cases work with governments, work with local organizations to just keep pushing the boundaries and get more out of that medium in future.
Oh, fantastic. So by the sounds of it, Sital, it sounds like as a jury you had a lot of tough decisions. So I was going to ask, for anyone who would be watching this, in terms of winning a trophy, it's a real tough thing to do. So if someone has won a trophy, they really, really do deserve it on the back of the scoring and the judging that you guys have produced.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the quality of the work, as I said, was so high. In most of the categories, we had a tough time deciding on who do we award and who do we upset, because they were all above par work that was submitted. So I think I can only say hearty congratulations to the winners, because they really, really deserved it. But those who didn't get that, gold, the silver, or the bronze, they should also know that the quality of their work was just world class, and you just need to keep trying and keep innovating and keep getting inspired to continue working on similar campaigns in coming years, but also pushing for those campaigns to get into as many awards, etc. globally, and feature and talk about themselves and market the great campaigns that they have been working behind.
And I suppose one last question for you, Sital, is, and it's based on your jury experience, why should if someone's asked to be a juror, what do you think are the key reasons why they should do it?
I think it's just the entire experience of being in a room full of people who are from diverse backgrounds and experiences, but reviewing a piece of work that has been submitted or shortlisted from their individual experiences and thereby coming to a collective decision. I think that experience and that journey that one takes is really unique. And if you are dedicating half a day of of your year in sitting together and doing this, that can be very, very rewarding, extremely inspiring to see some of the work that happens, and some of that inspiration, if you can take back into your daily life, both at work but also in your personal life, and see how you can look at things differently, come up with multiple solutions to the same problem. I think it's time that is really I think, served in that sense.
Well, thank you very much, Sital. Thank you very much for judging. Thank you very much for speaking to me now. It's been much appreciated. I'm looking forward to continuing our association with your good self and seeing what happens over the coming months. But I look forward to seeing you, hopefully, if you can log in next Thursday for the ceremony to find out the winners of the rest of the categories as well.
We'll absolutely try to do that. And thank you, Jeremy. Thanks to the Festival of Media. Keep up the good work and just continue on that journey.
Thank you very much, Sital. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye.